Hello everyone, this is Ryan from the ProfitTrailer team, also known as RF Radio on the ProfitTrailer Discord support server as well as elsewhere on the internet. In this video I'm going to be going over the buy settings for your DCA configuration. Now this is going to be a little bit longer than the prior DCA videos just because there are a lot more options to a lot more parameters to cover, I should say, in the configuration in your GUI. So let's take a look over here at your config. If we just mouse over config and click on DCA, we go to your configuration. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better if I can hit the right buttons here. So here we are, the buy settings. So without further ado, I'm just going to start going down these and basically cover what they all do. If there's anything I leave out or if you're confused by anything, if you click this wiki link down here at the bottom of the screen, you can go straight to the ProfitTrailer wiki. And I've already got the DCA file up here, but if you want to find it from the start, you just scroll down the left hand side until you get to setup files, and then you find DCA properties here, and just click that and it takes you to this page. So your buy settings, starting with the default DCA buy strategy. This is just like in your pairs file. This is the first buy strategy if you opt to use more than one. I have mine currently set at low BB, and then you have right below it the default DCA buy value, which will correspond with the DCA buy strategy. So they are put in these letter sequences just to keep them together and identify them. Which, well, also to associate the buy value with the buy strategy. There are a lot of buy strategies, too many for me to list right here, and if you want to know more about that, you can go on over to the buy and sell strategies page on the wiki. There is also the default DCA buy value limit if you opt to use it. I don't, so I just commented out at the beginning of the line right here. Then you have your default DCA buy strategy, again, like the pairs file. Having multiple strategies, you have to have this letter designator in the middle of it to tell which one it is. So I have RSI set for my DCA by strategy, and then you have the default DCA by value, so that associates it with the default B by strategy. I currently have that set to 40, and again, default DCA by value if you so choose to use it. You can have as many buy strategies as there are available if you want, just like you can in pairs. Moving on, the next command here, or next parameter, the default DCA buy trigger. Now this is the overall buying trigger. What I mean by buy trigger is the amount that the coin must drop in its profit level below the average price before it will allow the bot to engage the buy strategies. So this is essentially looking for a 5% drop as its default. Then a nice little feature that's carried over from the last one. You have all your buy triggers as in a numerical sequence where you can define each of these values at different trigger points. So I know this was popularized in the first version as one of the standard formats of use for the Anderson strategy. Now the Anderson is strictly a buying strategy in here, and you're not limited to just that particular strategy for DCA. If you want to use multiple buy triggers with different trigger points, you can for any buy strategy now. Next up we have here the sell only mode, or SOM DCA buy trigger. This will override your DCA buy triggers if your bot is in sell only mode. Now, I'm pretty sure that you have to set the bot to ignore sell-only mode in order for this to still work. The sell-only mode DCA buy trigger will only activate when the bot has gone into sell-only mode, so it's kind of an override. Also, if you want to set different trigger levels for the different numbers of successive DCA buys, you can actually define that by adding a number after the SOM DCA buy trigger. And you can add as many as you like. If it's just like this, however, it's just going to use the same buy trigger over and over and over again. And it will have to wait until it gets down below this particular loss point or this particular valuation point before it can be bought before it can rebuy it again. So next up we have the default DCA buy percentage. This is a very nice new feature where you can now define how much in percentage of what you're currently holding of a coin that the bot will use for a rebuy. So I have my default DCA buy percentage set to 20, which means that on any DCA buy beyond the 5 numbered ones I have set here, it's going to only buy 20% of what I'm currently holding for that coin in every successive rebuy. Now that's only when these numbered ones are already exhausted would it be able to continue. Then the default DCA buy percentage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these all numeric broken out. These have priority before it goes back over to the DCA buy percentage. As you can see here, I have mine set up in a descending pattern here. Essentially what I've set up is a true martingale strategy where it rebuys the same amount of the coin with every buy. That's why it is a steadily decreasing number, because as you increase your holding, if you want to continue to rebuy the same amount of coin every single time, you just have to keep shrinking that percentage down. And then you have your default DCA trailing buy, just like trailing in the pairs file. After you've, oops, I did that by accident. After you've had your bot trigger off of the trigger point here, and then satisfy your buying strategies, then it's going to trail. So this is where the last step in the buying process comes into play. And if you want to understand more about trailing, please go and view the trailing video, as it's a little bit more than get into than we would like to cover here today. So that in a nutshell has been the DCA buy settings, which you can actually see some of these in the DCA log. So I'm not going to save changes. Oops. I should actually hit OK, not cancel. So if we go over to our DCA log, we can actually see some of the things that are actually displayed in your buy settings, such as your buy strategies. Those are always present here. And there are a couple of other items as well. If we look at the value, that would be like for each buy value, that would be your buy strategy trigger right here. And then your buy strategy trigger value in your DCA configuration, that is actually your default DCA buy trigger and your numbered DCA buy triggers. Looks like that is it for the DCA buy settings. If you like what you see here on this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Please consider subscribing and hit the subscribe button if you could. And if you just want to get some alerts on when we post new videos and content, go ahead and hit the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. As always, happy trading, stay safe, and I will see you on the next video where we're going to be covering the DCA sell settings. If you need any help with your ProfitTrailer client, please consult the wiki at wiki.profittrailer.com. And if you still have more questions, don't hesitate to join us over on the Discord support server following the link on your screen.